The following thoughts, opinions, stories, and expressions are meant for those who will appreciate them. If you don't, we hope you keep an open soul to encounter another here on 34 Questions. Peace. In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. I'm your host, 34, and tonight I have a very special guest. Jamar Bajala is in the building. How you doing tonight, Jamar?
Hey Jan, what's up? I'm chilling. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for making time and being open to share your story, man. Definitely appreciate it. For the folks out, oh yeah. For the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions just to set the tone. After that, we'll jump into the Wheel of Fate, where we spin the wheel, whichever number it lands on. That's where the conversation will roll. And then after that, we'll finish it out with some closeout questions. Sound good to you, Jamar?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Well, my very first question for you is, how have you been? It's been about a month or so since I seen you. You've been doing well. You've been doing great. How you been, man?
I've been doing okay. Honestly, been feeling a little anxious recently because of this recent project that I auditioned for, and I've just been waiting to hear back if I was, going to get called back or not. So I've been a little bit anxious about that. I just found out that I got called back for the first round, and then they liked me and they called me back for the second round, and I'm flying out to Oklahoma tomorrow to do like an in-person audition with them. So I'm really excited for that.
Big things, man. Big things. It sounds crazy.
Big moves.
For sure. I understand that you can't really speak on it because, it's all confidential and whatnot. But congratulations. That's what's up, man.
Thank you.
So, I never got a chance to ask you this. And then for the folks out there who don't know, I just met you. We met on a set for Shanta Tanis's project recently. But for you, what level do you feel like you're at as far as your career? You still at level 1, or you feel like you level 3, or are you even higher? Where do you feel like you're at?
I definitely feel like I'm bare bottom. Beggars can't be choosers. Very start of my acting career.
I got you.
Very, very beginning. Yeah.
For sure. That kind of moves us on to question number 2, which is, what would you like the audience to know about you?
I'm an actor. I've just started recently working in the acting market last September. It's something I love and I want to do for the rest of my life. And if I'm not acting, you'll usually probably find me gaming. Those are the two kind of big things that I basically do with my time.
For sure. Well, what would you say is the spark that acting gives you? Like, why are you drawn to it? Can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I think one of the more interesting things about working as an actor is if you're able to get into a good place, a lot of the projects you do are different all the time. So it's never repetitive. There's always something new that you're learning, whether it's something with production, something to do with the actual acting itself, with your character, someone else's character, the relationship you have with a character. There's always something to learn. It's refreshing and new every single time. And that's just one of the big things that really drew me to working in this field. Because I have ADHD. So working a 9-to-5 office job is very difficult for me. And kind of this field kind of works along with that.
I got you.
Yeah.
Damn, ADHD, man, that's no joke.
No joke.
You find that out in your younger years, or did you just recently come to that not conclusion, but diagnosis?
Yeah, I was recently diagnosed. Well, I don't know what you consider recent, but I'm 26 now. I was officially diagnosed when I was 22, 21, 22, something around there. And when I was officially diagnosed back then, it was such a relief, man, because growing up, my parents were, especially my dad, was just really strict on school and stuff, and I could never perform at the level that he wanted me to, and I always felt like I was an idiot, or there was something wrong with me, or I was just really stupid. And just having that diagnosis kind of made me feel good in a way where it kind of made things made sense. Like, okay, I'm not just a fucking idiot. There's a reason why, you know, I was performing the way that I was performing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It must have been like a big weight off your shoulders, man.
Huge weight.
And I mean, for someone who doesn't really understand or doesn't know, like how would you describe what goes on in your head compared to, like, I guess, normal people?
Yeah, well, people with ADHD, it's kind of different with everybody. But for me, I can never really focus on things for very long. So studying was never my strong suit, and was one of the reasons why I just never really did well in school. But yeah, my attention span is very short. I don't know if this is just ADHD or just me, but I'm very obnoxious.
What do you mean by that? I know you said that that was the one word you would describe yourself as obnoxious. I don't see that, man. But so why do you for yourself feel that way?
I'm just a big, loud, goofy fool, bro, and I just laugh like the poo-poo pee-pee jokes, man, get me every fucking time. Let me tell you, bro, every single time. So in that kind of sense, the first thing that comes to my head is obnoxious.
Okay, I got you.
It could be taken in a good way or bad way, however you want to perceive that. But yeah, man. And also I can't really stand still all the time. So if I'm sitting down, you'll usually find me like tapping on something with my hands, or rocking my legs all the time. That's one of those.
I got you. And I'm just curious, like how did you, I guess, come up with the courage, or I asked your doctor, like, yo, I want to be tested for this because I think something might be off. Was it like that, or did someone recommend you?
Yeah, I got to a point in my life where also one of the things with ADHD is a lot of disorganization. I got to a point in my life where I was 21. I was trying to kind of figuring out things on my own, and I just realized that I was getting in my own way with some of the most simple tasks, just like keys, wallet, phone, you know what I mean? And it got to a point where I would be losing those things all the time, and it would make me late for everything. And I just remember I just got in big trouble at where I was working at, and it just made me think, man, I gotta go see someone because my life is totally disorganized and I need help.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I know it's not always easy to talk about it, so I appreciate it. We'll move on to the third question, which is, if I were to do something in your honor, a way to express the energy you possess, what could I do, man?
You're gonna have to repeat that question.
So what could I do in your honor? So like if I was gonna honor Jamar in some form of act, how could I honor you, man?
Honor me? That's a how could you honor me? Bro, just, you could honor me. The first, I don't know if I'm answering this correctly, but the first thing that comes to mind is just wake up and do what you love. If you want to honor me, wake up, do what really matters to you in your life, and don't look back.
For sure,
that's
man.
What you get, man. Yeah,
I got you, and you answered it perfectly, man. Don't worry, it's really up for interpretation, and however people want to leave that message. But I think we got you. Now.
Nice.
And then in my last question for you, before we move on to the icebreakers, is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
Probably a 5.
Well, that's right in the middle. Why a 5?
Yep. I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting recently, and maybe the past couple months, and I've kind of realized how much I've changed in the past couple of years and just how much I'm changing every single day. And sometimes I discover things about me that I never really knew. And a lot of that is, you know, shout outs to my therapist, who's been helping me, you know, do a lot of that work of that self-reflection and understanding who I am and how I'm changing constantly every day. So yeah, 5.
I got you. A follow-up is you mentioned your therapist. Shout out to therapists out there.
Gang gang.
I think I've been struggling to find one that fits me. So like for you, how do you know that this therapist is like a good one, you know, versus maybe other ones you may have experienced? Because for me, I'm not too sure. I had one experience where it felt like, and this was through BetterHelp, and I'm not trying to knock BetterHelp, but it was, the experience was just that, you know, like it was a FaceTime call. I said my piece, and I don't know, man, it felt different. I've had therapy when I was younger that felt deeper and better. I don't know why, but now it just felt like, you know, here to hear my problem and maybe give me advice. I remember the reason why I stopped was he just kept saying, you know what to do. Like I knew the answer to what my issue was. And I wasn't satisfied with that, you know? I was kind of like, that I get it. Maybe I just can't admit it, but can you give me some more? And it kind of stopped there. So for you, like, how did you know that, you know, this therapist was a good one for you?
For me, I knew my therapist was a good fit for me because he is able to ask me questions that need to be asked. I know these are very vague.
Oh no, you keep it vague, man. I get it.
yeah. He kind of gets the questions that I need to ask myself, and he kind of gets sort of the things that I talk about him too, that I don't know exactly how to formulate what I'm, like, you know, trying to get out. And I'm very fortunate that he kind of just gets it.
For sure.
And this is definitely has not been the case with other therapists that I have seen recently in the past. I do think a huge part of that, you know, therapist client connection is really just, it's kind of just like a friendship, you know. Sometimes you talk to people, you don't click, and with others you kind of just do. And some at least with my experience, that's kind of just how therapy was for me. I've seen a couple people, and I kind of just kept looking until I found a guy that just got me in the sense that needs to be, you know, with that, you know, client therapist rapport. For sure.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. That's what's up. You know, it's a different connection, man, between a therapist and their client. It's I don't know, it's a deeper connection. Because it's always like, I don't know if it's for you, but for me it was always like the deeper stuff that I never really talked about with other people. And it was non-judgmental, you know. They weren't really a part of my life except for that conversation, you know, and that distance made them feel more, I guess, safe. I don't know, but yeah, I feel you, man. For anyone there who's looking for help, definitely recommend to try it at some point. All right, man, let's move on to the icebreakers. But before people go do that, if you are enjoying the content, please like if you might, share if you care, subscribe for a vibe that you didn't know was there.
Hey, that was dope, bro. What the hell?
Right on, man. This is some of the new stuff that I'm working on, but let's get on to the icebreakers. Here we go.
Do it.
So this first one is going to be called The Point of View. I'm going to give you some statements. Just kind of give me what your stance is on it. If you think it's true or false, if you agree with it, disagree. So this first one is blood is thicker than water. Agree or disagree?
In like a logical sense, I mean, I think I'd agree with that.
But but in that sense of like, you know, I think people use this term sometimes to be like, oh, it's family above all. you know.
Oh no, fuck that. No, fuck that. Family don't mean shit, dude. Let me tell you, with my personal experience, no.
Nah.
No, it all depends on who that person is and what they're bringing to your life, family or not family. You know? It just depends on the person.
Yeah, no, I got you. And feel free to pass if you don't want to. You don't need to give me all the details, but you feel like it sounds like that came from a sensitive spot.
Oh hell yeah.
can that kind of stuff be repaired?
Definitely. It can be if both parties are willing to.
I got you. My second statement for you is overthinking is a bad thing.
Yes.
Why yes?
Because just from personal experience and just experience with people I know. I mean, in circumstances, you know, maybe it could be okay, but for the most part, a lot of, from what I've seen, it just causes a lot of anxiety.
Got you. Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's something I do a lot, and I don't know if you could tell when I am in social situations. I feel like that I'm not, but it seems like, you know, people have asked me before, maybe I'm lost in thought or I'm daydreaming, and then I try to get right back into the conversation. But yeah, that kind of stuff happens to me all the time. Can I say it's a bad thing? I don't know. It's like,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so, man.
I haven't. That's why I ask these questions, because I don't think I've had that answer for myself just yet. But for sure. And I'm gonna throw you another one. This one is better to ask for forgiveness than permission. True or false? Have you heard this phrase before? Or?
I haven't, but I agree with that. in the general umbrella.
I got you.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, it's like I'm speeding, right? I'd rather ask for forgiveness, permission at that point. But you know, I haven't sped in 10 years, cops. So don't come try to find my car. But we'll move on to the next icebreaker, which is word for word. I'm gonna give you a word, and then you give me your first thought that comes to mind. This might be, you might break the record. You tell me your mind can jump a lot. The record is 11 in 34 seconds. So without further ado, here's your first word in 3, 2, 1. Oh no. See, forgot. False start. Okay. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Love.
Who?
People.
Random.
Happiness.
Good.
Art.
Flavor.
Past.
Future.
Culture.
People.
Knowledge.
Power.
Dance.
Tune.
God.
Power.
Life.
Flowers.
Hope.
Dreams.
Regret.
Past.
Got you, man. You did it. You got 12. You got 12 in 34. Gave you an edge that time. That's what's
crazy. That's crazy.
There's one word I'm gonna pick out, and something you said. Explain why. You said art was flavor. What did you mean by that?
And now I gotta try and unpack this shit. Okay, when you said art, I said flavor. The first thing that comes to my mind is just, you know, it's a very subjective thing. You know, sometimes if you order something at a restaurant, you'll like it. Maybe you won't like it. Maybe your friend likes it. Maybe they don't like it. You know, art is a very subjective thing, and people are always gonna have opinions on it. Kind of just like a take it as it is, or take it how you ever want to interpret it. It's very art is a very interpretive thing, and if you look at art, whether in any of its form, you're either gonna look at it and take it as probably one of the most delicious things you've ever tasted, maybe you thought it was all right. Maybe you'd go back again for it, or you just think it's complete pile of dog shit. I'm never eating this shit ever again. That's kind of how I see that.
I got you. Yeah. So for yourself, you have any unique flavors of art that maybe like you dug something and everyone's like, damn, you think that's good? And then you're like, yeah, it's dope to me.
It's funny because so I own my own film production company, and I shot my first 2 short films earlier this year. And as someone who's purely only learned about acting and not about the production side and the editing side and the directing side of it all, it was very, very new to me. But it is art, and even though it is mine, I humbly will say that those were ass. They were ass because it's the first time I've ever done something like that. And obviously when you do art for the first time without ever really studying and kind of just jumping in, it's never going to be good at first. But the more you do it and the more you learn and the more you learn about the craft over time, you'll see that your art will begin to improve as time goes on. And that's kind of just how I see that with not only with my acting, but with my film production company.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, I think that's something that's, I want to say underrated. I feel like I've seen a lot more people wise up to that. The fact that we have to kind of struggle in the beginning and be really bad at what we want to do.
Yes.
Like if you watch the first few episodes of this podcast, even like I'll cringe when I watch it. I'm like, damn, I should have put more thought, should have done this, should have done that. But you don't really learn that stuff until you do it. And it's
all a learning experience. You got to get your hands dirty. You gotta make shit until you can make it better.
You got to be able to do it and also have the courage to share it, right? Like,
exactly.
Putting it out there is a scary ass thing, man, because you put so much time and effort into something, and then you're just
it's a very vulnerable thing. It is, it truly is.
Yeah, and you just hope you find the people that rock with it, right? And then grow from there. So kudos to you, man.
Hey, you too, man. You too.
Right on. We're gonna jump back into the main stage, and then I'm gonna pull up the wheel. At this point, we're gonna spin the wheel, give it a spin, whichever number it lands on, that's where it'll roll. So here we go, man.
All right, let's spin it.
And it's just a reminder, at any point there's a number you don't want to answer, anything's too deep, feel free to pass, no pressure.
Bet. Right. Oh, and maybe I should have talked to you about this beforehand, but I can curse, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No need to censor yourself.
Just wanted to make sure. Got it.
Here we go. This one's kind of heavy. I think all of these are heavy.
We jumping right in, boy. Let's do it.
So, what was a situation when you didn't get the help that you needed?
Yep, we're hitting it. We're going deep. All right. So when I was very, very young, looking back at it now, there were lots of things, lots of things that I was interested in and really wanted to pursue. But due to, my parents and kind of just their ideas of things and kind of just the inexperience that they had as parents back then, I feel like they didn't necessarily know how to nurture my growth in the way that I needed to grow. And one of the things was I'm a very competitive gamer. And I feel like if that was nourished when I was younger in my prime, I could have been a professional Halo player. That was like my dream. And that was squandered. And it was always, growing up, it was like a pipe dream. And that was like one of the saddest things. Like, I never really got to achieve that. My dad thought of gaming as just like a distraction of, just a distraction. It was never going to get me anywhere. It was kind of just a waste of time. And he kind of just took my dreams and just shit on it, And that was a very sad thing to experience. No kid should ever have their dreams shattered like that, especially when it's by your parents. who want the best for you, and they think they're doing what is best for you, but in reality they're not.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't speak on parenting just because, I'm not a parent myself, but very similar thoughts to what you've had for your folks. I mean, for me, like, it's hard because I don't want to put any blame on my folks. I know they did their best, right? They did their best with what they knew, with what they had. And I can't fault them for that. And I don't want to. I don't want to even frame that in my mind in that way. But most definitely felt like there's other things I could have been doing at certain times, maybe pursuing other opportunities. It's just because I work in the schools now, and it feels like there's way more resources for them. But I'm not sure. Maybe there were resources back then, but because my parents were immigrants, they didn't know the system of how school districts work. And all they knew was college. Get to college, get a degree.
Exactly.
And then their mission, I don't know if your parents are first generation. For my folks, they just got here, and that's the idea. That was their American dream, right? Get my kid through college, and I've accomplished something. And that's a lot of pressure too for them.
It is.
So it's just, man, I mean, hopefully we can be better for our kids, and
that is the plan.
Yeah,
and I just kind of wanted to follow up on kind of what you were saying about not knocking your parents. To be honest, I did blame my parents for a very, very long time, and it wasn't until recently, this year actually, where I talked to my dad and I said, for the longest time, I blamed you for a lot of things that went wrong in my life, and I've come to a point in my life, I'm now turning 26, where I am done doing that. And it sucked that you weren't able to give me everything that I needed, but you did try your best, and I don't blame you. I just got to move on and basically do the best that I can now that I'm a grown man. So yes, I did blame my parents, especially my dad, for a very long time, but I've come to a place where I know that they truly did try their best, and at the end of the day, I love them for that.
For sure. Bro, that's a huge growth moment. I don't know a lot of folks that can get to that point sometimes, on both sides. It's cool that even your pops heard you out, because some parents don't want to hear it, right?
Exactly.
So that's what's up, man. I'm glad that you were able to do that. And yeah, I mean, shifting that perspective gives you a little more power and control for yourself, right? It's kind of like empowering.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's like, it has nothing to do with my folks. It's me. So yeah, man, that's a trip. Thank you for sharing, man. That's these questions can be pretty hard sometimes.
I love it.
All right. Oh, I want to ask you, so how good were you? You said you could have done it.
I was real good. I mean, recently this year, I was talking about the pipe dream, and I had an opportunity to kind of see if I still had those chops, so I was able to get on an amateur team, and we were, for the new game Halo Infinite, and we were scrimming some top 32 teams, and we were able to do really good, and we were able to kind of break into that amateur scene, and I thought I really had a chance to turn this pipe dream into something that I could fulfill, like my childhood fantasy. But things kind of got in the way. The game wasn't working the way it was supposed to, and I was getting to a place in my acting career where I kind of had to pick and choose, like, do I want to continue down this professional gaming path, or do I want to focus on my acting? Because I was at a point where I had to choose one. I couldn't do both. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy to do both. And just with the way the game was, and all the bugs and all that stuff, I kind of made a decision like, hey, I'm glad that I managed to at least give this a shot. And I did, manage to play in the Halo Championship Series, albeit not exactly where I wanted to be, but I got to compete with a lot of the top, 0.1% players in the world. And at, me being 26 now, for me, that was finally enough. That was enough. It was better than nothing. And I'm happy that I was able to do that.
That's crazy that you proved it to yourself.
Yeah.
So in that sense, or on the acting side, do you think there's ever enough? Like, you'll get to that similar point that you did with video games?
I don't really look at with video games in my acting career. I don't really think of it like that.
I got you.
I think there will definitely a point. There will definitely be a point where it's enough. Right now, I'm in the point where I have to really dig my heels in, eat shit, you know, be a yes man, take whatever opportunity I can get. But, you know, as you see with a lot of A-list celebrities, and I'm not saying I'm going to be an A-list celebrity. That was never really my dream to begin with being an actor. But you'll see that a lot of successful actors, once they get to a certain point, that it's enough for them. Sometimes they'll turn down roles and they will, you know, explore different avenues. They'll take up less roles and kind of enjoy being a family person, or they'll go and travel, or they'll just find a different career path. But there will definitely be a place in my career where I will think that it is enough. But right now, definitely not.
I got you. No. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Still ground zero. Still hella hungry for it. Now, do you think it's possible for people to do two things? Like, for example, I have a day job and I'm trying to pursue this podcasting. Do you think it's possible for me to be able to pull that off, and like for me really take this podcasting serious and, you know, make it happen with a day job? Or at some point am I just gonna have to be like, you know, take that leap, make that risk, you know, and just do focus on the podcast at all times?
Well, it all depends. Like, you have to gauge your current situation. I mean, for me in my acting career, you know, I have a survival job. You know, I work a survival job, and I do my acting, and also while owning my own film production company. And it's like a lot of this stuff. So it depends. You know, if you're able to put yourself in a place financially where you can give yourself time to really commit 100% on your podcast, and that's what you want to do, then, you know, go for it. But for me, it kind of all depends on how psychotic you want to be about it. You know, like, you can pull if you want to, like, if you're willing to do anything and just eat shit for what you want, then you can pull a Steve Harvey and you can live in your car and really just do it. If that's what you want to do and you're okay with living in those circumstances, then fuck yeah, go for it. But if you feel like you really need, you know, find some type of financial stability where you're able to get an income and know you have a place to stay at night, and know you have a shower, your own shower to be in, and you have your own toilet to shit in, then there's nothing wrong with that. But just gauge how far you're willing to go and kind of just work off that.
I got you. Yeah, man. I mean, that's still a lot of self-reflection for me down the road.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, if my boss happens to see this, what's it called? There's a reason why I came back to that job. There's a certain point where I want to feel like I've done what I came back to do. And I don't think, like, I tell this in my head all the time, like, if, you know, miraculously someone's like, we want you to quit your job and do the podcast full time, we'll pay you X amount. It had to be a lot, because in my mind, I feel like I'd stay at my day job right now to follow through with my vision, and then until I can feel comfortable doing podcasting full time. And I hope those two things just align, but we'll see how it gets there, man.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
Let's jump into another spin. Here we go. Number 2 this time. This one is, who do you think you are? That's the question.
Who do I think I am?
Yeah.
I'm just a dreamer that has no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just taking one step at a time and just trying to figure it all out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say you're about? Like, if you're like, I am about this, you know?
Man, I'm just all about following your dreams and following what truly matters at the core of what you believe you're put on this earth to do. You know, I've spent years of my life avoiding that. And now that I have the feeling of knowing what it's like to waste my life away, not doing what I'm meant to do, I never want to look back and be in that place ever again. And I never want to see someone else put themselves in that situation ever again, because it's one of the worst feelings in the world.
So you felt like you had to suppress your dreamer side for a long time, or?
It's not that I felt like I had to suppress it. I was just lost. I was lost in the world, lost in my own, lost in my own head with my own, baggage and problems. And I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing or what I'm meant to do or who I'm meant to be. And I spent like 5-6 years just working like a robot and not really doing anything that mattered to me. And that was very, very scary.
Yeah, man.
Because one of my fears is, being on my deathbed and asking myself, with this one life that I had, did I really do anything that mattered to me? And if I were to say no, then I don't even know what I'd do, man. That's a scary thing, and I never want to be in that situation.
Yeah, man. Just describing that kind of scene, I just imagine like, an old man on a deathbed, and then just like you can't move, but you see one of those tears fall off, and everyone's like, what? Why did that happen? And then
exactly, man.
Oh shit, man.
It's scary. It really, really is. I mean, and if you kind of think about it, I mean, even in a situation like that, but it could just be like with the way the world is and just how things happen that are just so out of your control. The way I see things now is like I can go at any minute. Something can happen to me tomorrow, next week. My life could be over at any minute, at any given day. And just knowing that it fuels me, knowing that if I got this one life and I don't know when I'm gonna go, I at least want to spend it knowing that I did something that was meaningful.
Yeah, man. I mean, it hurts me when I know folks aren't doing that. Like
it hurts me too, man. I feel that pain. I talk to people and they talk to me about how they want to get out of their 9-to-5, or they at least want to try and do something different, but they're too scared. Either they're stopping themselves, or they're not surrounding themselves with the right people that are telling them not to, because it's not, quote unquote secure, or, any of that. It's a very bad place to be. And if I could, I would get everyone out of there.
Yeah, man.
That's not the way to live life, man.
And I might do the same thing to a fault, man, because since I work with kids and high schoolers, and for me, it just feels so fulfilling, like, I'm doing something important, that when I have friends who kind of complain about their day jobs, I'm like, why don't you work with some kids, or like, do a workshop or something with them, because that connection, that I don't know, I'm not trying to sell that career to anybody, but it's that pure connection. And I think a lot of folks get it through their kids. So since I don't have kids, I think this is how it's fulfilling, like that part of my, like, mentorship, or trying to be a father figure or whatever. That's how it's being channeled. And so for folks out there who don't have families and are feeling like, robots at a 9-to-5, volunteer at a school or something. I mean, kids give us a lot of energy anyways. Like, how people with babies, they all like get up on them like, oh, give me your youthfulness or whatever. So yeah, similar thing. I think for me, I feel like I'm a grown ass kid, and
me too, man. I'm right there with you.
And you work with kids too, right? So it's
and I work with kids too. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's the kind of people like ourselves who find some joy and find some that extra calling. I wouldn't call it the higher calling, but like there's something there for us. But yeah, and I had another one for you. I'm trying to remember question. I think I lost it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll come back to you.
Yeah, it will. You know it will. Like after we're done with the conversation. But
that's how it always happens, man.
We're gonna give the wheel another spin.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, there you go. Came back.
You got it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Before we do
let me
it,
know. What was it?
We got 29. But before we get to 29, it was you talked about yourself being at a 5, and that you learn new things about yourself. What's the last thing that surprised you about yourself? And you're like, oh shit, I had that in me. Like I didn't even know.
Jeez. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that one, man.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get back to you on that one. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I'll get back to you.
Don't worry. 29. It relates to what we were just talking about. But at this point, can you say you've lived a full life?
I can't say that I lived a full life, but I can say I've put myself on the path of living a full life. And that's a lot. Even that, just putting yourself on the right track, even though it's at the very, very beginning, that's a very huge step to take.
Yeah. What is it about at this point in your life that, compared to everything else, makes you feel like this is the track? This is, because I hear you on that. I feel the same exact way with my podcast shit, man. I'm just like, all right, I know it's not where I want it to be right now, but if I just keep hitting the nail, then it's gonna get in there, right? So for you, like, how come any other moment in the past never felt that way, but now it does?
Because in the past, I was just, working at Vans, working these, there's nothing wrong with working these jobs, but there was never a sense of a higher purpose. I felt like just a robot, just paying bills, getting money, paying bills and getting money, and never serving the fire that was inside of me, and I was just letting it fizzle out and burn, just burn out. But now that I've had that reflection and told myself that I have this one life, I'm just gonna give it all. That was that moment that happened last year, just earlier last year, maybe like right after summer, the previous summer, where I was like, okay, I need to start feeling my fire. And the moment I did, it started off really, really small, and albeit it's still small and it's not as big as I want it to be, but the fire is there, and I'm tending to it, and I'm making sure that it stays lit, and that's all I can really do. And it takes a lot of work and effort, but it's a lot better than just letting that simmer out and die.
Yeah, man, that fire for sure. And like, how do you keep that flame alive, I guess? Have you ever had a time where, like, even though you feel like you're on the right track, I know for me, sometimes this podcast stuff gets overbearing, and I'm just like, damn.
Dude, yes, I get burnt out all the time. I mean, even with just dealing with my day job, I have to come home, and audition. And there are times where I get really burnt out, and I get opportunities, and I have to say no to them, because I have to take care of my own health. And that's something that I'm still learning how to gauge, and still trying to figure out how much I can take and what I can't take. And it's important to really reflect on that. And even though you have that love for what you want to do, you don't want to kill yourself trying to do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been dealing with, ever since I started my acting career. Was I've been in too many situations where I have an opportunity to audition for something, but I'm so burnt out that I have to say no. and I have to give myself that time to recover and then just move on. And I have to tell myself that, okay, even though I missed this opportunity, it's okay, because I'm letting myself heal and recover, so I'm ready for next opportunity that I am willing to take. And sometimes that's a really hard pill to swallow, especially when you're bare bottoms, beggars can't be choosers. You really do feel like you have to take every single opportunity, or you feel like, you know, you're scum for even like saying no to something, you know? I felt like that a lot, but I've, you know, with a lot of talk with my therapist, you know, he's helped me realize that that there is a balance. And if I don't say no, then I'm probably just gonna end up hating this career.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's something I don't think about often enough. I know for me, balance is definitely let that be the key word in all this. That's something I've been building for myself. You said you were still working on identifying it in those moments. Trust me, man. You said you're 26. Once you turn 30, you're damn good at identifying your balance. Ask any 30-year-old. And I don't know what it is, man. It sounds good that it seems like you're ahead of wherever I was at 26. Maybe with the help of your therapist, but that's a good place to be. I think that will definitely help you on your journey and your path, because he's right that there is a balance. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like, you know, the chemicals in our brain, or our brain not being developed enough. But at 18, it felt like there was no, right? It was all like
exactly.
go.
It's definitely chemicals in your brain, man. once you hit like somewhere in your 20s, man, something happens and you just can't take on. You just feel like you can't take on the world as you really felt like you could when you were 18.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, something hits you. Your knees start to feel a little bit different. Your energy you have a little bit less patience for things. Yeah, something definitely happens, man. So when you're young, that's the best way to do it, when you're young, man.
That's what they say, man. And you know, it's crazy. It's like, like I said, I'm not knocking nobody, but I can definitely tell, like, the kids who have that head start, maybe they had that support system, maybe they had the connections, that just, because, like, you know, I don't know, I feel like everyone that works through it, like we are, there's that struggle period, and like when we have nothing, and, you know, we keep pushing. And then for some folks, you know, they had the right people in their lives to be like, this is how you do it, and this is where you need to go, and all that stuff. So another plug it for working with kids, maybe be that person for those folks. I'll probably tap in with you at some point, when you have the time. I think, you know, maybe just even talking one time at one of our events, man, telling kids what it's like to do your own film production, and just the challenges, because they don't know that stuff, right? And like, they're like,
exactly.
Yeah, I think always got to spread the knowledge, man. Like that's what I'm trying to get at for anyone out there. I think we got time for one more spin. You down?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Goes the wheel. Last time before we head over to the closeout questions. Number 5 is, what's the difference between best friends and friends?
This is something that I personally struggle with. But I guess I can say I recently found out that answer. You know, your best friends are the people that are gonna set you straight when you're fucking up. When you fuck up with them, they're not just gonna, you know, ghost you or, you know, make you out to be some type of person. They're gonna sit you down and say, hey man, you did this, you fucked up, you know, but I'm here for you and I'm gonna help you out. Like, I'm here to set you straight, you know, like you're my homie. You know, those are your best friends. People that are going to be with you at your lowest, and the people that are going to be at you when, you know, when you're riding on cloud 9. And something I've recently discovered when I was at my lowest is that my best friends that I thought were my best friends, you know, I don't really have the opportunity to be around people a lot because I was always moving around because my dad was in the Air Force. So I never really kept friends, but these you know, quote unquote best friends that I thought they were my best friends for like 7 years. Maybe I you know, I definitely fucked up, and I may have definitely said some things, and I might have tried to, you know, part ways or, you know, do my own thing. But at the end of the day, I came to a point where maybe I realized I fucked up, and I was vulnerable enough, and I put myself in a very vulnerable place, and I attempted to confront them, and I reached out to them and I said, hey man, I know it's been a while since we talked, but I want to let you know that whatever happened between us, you know, I might have said some things and I might have fucked up, but you know, I still, you know, this friendship really matters to me still, and I want to try to make amends and, you know, fix things in any way that I can, you know. And I put myself out there, and just nothing.
Damn, man.
Got nothing from them. No, just like, no thanks, I'm good. Just like ghosted, you know. And I've known these guys since high school. And then and it's crazy because I had previously the best friends that I had before I met them, I ghosted them for like 10 years. And I was talking with my therapist, and the whole reason why I even got back into this, you know, reaching out to people was because my therapist was helping me, you know, figure out friendships and best friendships, and, you know, what really matters to me, and what people do I really want and need in my life. And that was the first group of people who I thought I needed, and they showed me their true colors. And the other group that I reached out to were a group of friends that I had in elementary school that they were my best friends, and I hadn't talked to them in 10 years because, you know, I was going through my own shit. I kind of just like, things kind of just stopped. But I reached out to them, and they, you know, welcomed me with open arms. And, you know, we did have that talk about like, it's been 10 years, like, where did you go? And I had to basically say, yeah, I moved away to Germany. You know, I was living my own life. Things kind of just happened. And, but when it comes down to it, you know, I was like, this probably was a friendship that I never should have, you know, left. And if I had made them feel a certain way, you know, man, I owned up to it, and I said, hey, I you know, it's been 10 years. I definitely fucked up, but I just want to let you know, like, hey, I fucked up. I messed up. But at the end of the day, y'all still matter to me, and I want to be in your lives. You know, like, let's kick it. And they were just like, welcome back, you know? And kind of that experience really opened my eyes to the kind of people that's important to me, that I need in my life.
Damn, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for sharing, man. You know, I've had recent falling outs. I don't think they're recent anymore. I think enough time has passed, and I don't think like it really matters like that anymore in my mind. Definitely, I always try to reach out because I know I could have been better as well about the situation. And yeah, man, some folks, you know, they're still doing their own thing, and maybe you're just part of the past at this point. I'm talking to myself at this point. But
and then that's okay. You know, life moves on. Sometimes friendships aren't meant to last, you know, forever, and that's okay.
I hear you, man. Well, all right. Thank you for getting deep with me, man. You know, you definitely hit some hard questions. And we're not stopping. This next part
let's go.
Even deeper, maybe. So this is an exercise called the 34th mantra. I'm going to ask you to fill in the phrase I am, I can, I will. So I am blank, I can blank, I will blank. I'm going to switch you over to the 34th mantra screen. Let me know when you're ready, because it's probably for some folks the most unnerving part, because you'll be talking to yourself. It's like a reflection. But yeah, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, let's do it. Let's just jump right in.
Here we go, man. I am, I can, I will. How would you fill that in for yourself?
I am a dreamer. I can follow my dreams, and I will succeed.
You will, man. You will succeed. And if you ever need a reminder, now you got that little soundbite of yourself telling you that you're gonna make it, man.
Do it. Nice.
All right, so we are now in the closeout portion. This next one is actually going to be a question from my previous guest. So shout out to Jarrett. His question for you is, what can you do tomorrow that could spin your life in the direction you want it to head, or wants to head?
Probably do my laundry. Dead ass, bro.
It's the little things, right?
It's the little things. I was telling you earlier, man, about how disorganized I am with my ADHD, and you know, I'm a huge Jordan Peterson fan, and you know what he's all about. You know, just making your bed. You know, it's the smallest things. It's the foundation of like how your days go, man. And I'm very bad at making my bed and doing those basic things and doing my laundry. But let me tell you, once I get that shit down, nothing can stop me. Let me tell you, I ain't playing around. Once I figure out how to do that shit, I'm gonna be unstoppable.
All right, did you just reference? Sorry, I don't know if you saw, I pulled my cord, so I caught the very end of that. But were you just referencing Jordan Peterson or no?
I was.
Very controversial figure, man. So what's your take on that guy?
When it comes to just the basics of, we can talk, I don't really want to get into like the politics of it all, but
we don't need to.
One thing, but just the one basic like thing that he talks about is just how important it is to just build your foundation of when you wake up, just make your bed. Start with something small that will help you build the foundations of your life and get you in a better place. Put some organization in your life. And for me, that's something that I definitely need the most.
I hear you, man. I definitely like that piece from him as well. I honestly, I don't watch the news. I don't listen to every single thing he says, so I don't know why he's controversial at this point. Because I do agree with him at that part, right? Like, get your shit together, or if you want to change the world, start with making your bed. And
amen.
And I'm a person who's always told myself in my life, like, I want to change the world, and that just stuck with me because like I don't always make my bed either. So it's something that I felt like, you're right. If there's one goal, right, is every morning make your bed, feel good about that win, and hopefully it causes a ripple effect throughout your day, throughout your life.
Exactly.
All right, man. Second to last question is going to be, what would you like to ask the next guest on 34 Questions?
Okay. My question for the next guest, shout out next guest, whoever you are. My question for you is, have you discovered your purpose? And if you have, what are you doing to fulfill that? And if you haven't, what are you doing to try to find out what that purpose is? It's kind of a long one.
No, it's cool. I'm writing it down just so I don't forget. And I never say this, but I'll tell you that it's probably going to be a little paraphrased because the way I write it.
No, go ahead, man.
So yeah, I'll do my best. But I got you, man. This one is definitely deep for some folks. And all I can hope is for honesty. And if it's true, then more power to that person. Purpose is, like, even though I feel like I'm on the right track, I still, if someone was gonna ask me what my purpose is, I still wouldn't know at this point. So yeah, man. All right. Here we are. Finally made it to the last question of the podcast, man. This one is 100, 200, 300 years from now, your descendants are watching this video. What would you like to tell them?
That's a good one. I would like to tell them no matter what people tell you, no matter who it is, if it's your sister, brother, your mom, dad, cousin, grandpa, grandma, I don't give a fuck. If you have something that truly matters to you and you believe in it wholeheartedly, then you go out and do it. Even if you have to do it yourself and pave your own way, you do it. That's it.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Any last things you'd like to add before we head out of here, man?
Nah, man, just shout outs to you. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
And I guess,
how can people find info about you or your work and all that good stuff?
Yeah, man. I usually just operate through Instagram. So for any of y'all watching that's interested in following me and my journey, you can catch me on Instagram at Jamar Bajala. That's JamarBajala on Instagram.
Man, you need to make that into a tune or something. You know, the Jama, you know, something like that.
Now you got me thinking. All right.
But for sure, man, I want to thank you again, Jamar, for stopping by. Definitely appreciate hearing your story, and I hope the folks did as well. For everyone out there listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, definitely appreciate your time as well. Remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love, and we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions. Peace.
Yeah.
And then it fades out from there, man.